Okay. Okay, Aubrey, this might be familiar to you. I don't know how this video is going to work out, or even if I've got it set up to fly properly. I'm not sure how to work this radio in this aircraft. But anyway, we're coming up on what I used to call Sonderstrom, BW8. And I think now it's called Congress Lukwak or something, Greenland. We were talking about the fact that you have to go up the fjord to land at it. And right now, we're flying in that general area. I think this is the fjord that we're going to be going up. And I think the runway is up around this area right here. I don't know if I can get this localizer to work. Looks to me like it needs to be tracking. It's not really tracking right. So I'm going to try to just adjust the by heading and see if I can make it do that. We can see this is the localizer here. If I can get it to turn to take the localizer, then we'll see if it'll lock on. I'm not sure it will. And I'm going to come in at 3100, hopefully to intercept the glide path. If it'll intercept, but I'm not sure it will. These are the radios on this flight simulator. They've got all screwed up, especially when you try to tie it to the autopilot. If I'm not mistaken, I think the runway is right up in here. I've got the gear and the flaps down because just to make it a little more stable, because I really don't know what I'm doing with these radios. And if it doesn't intercept, it's visual, so I can take over visually and see what happens. You know, Aubrey, I remember when I remember BW, well, we called it BW8. Like I said, it was called Sonderstrom Air Base. This was in the 50s before they disabled the Air Force, or the Air Force pulled out and gave it back to the civilians. It seemed to me like the glacier was closer on the east end of the runway than what you're going to see here. It almost looks like you've got quite a bit of space. It was almost, I kind of remember it as going almost into a wall, not far from the end of the runway. But let's see. All the bases used to be called BW something. It's called Bluey West. I think those were the names of the explorers that explored up in this area. North Sarsarak was Bluey West 1. Now, Thule, they never gave a BW name to. They just kept calling it Thule. Okay, as I see it, we're about to intercept the. This is not working. I mean, it looks to me like we're right on the runways up here. We should be right on it. So the heading for the localizer is 92. And that's what I'm going to take it to. I'm going to take it to 92 and see if that'll make it a little better. It should take us, we should be pretty much right on the localizer here. And the base, I think, is right there, or the runway is right there. So if it'll, I've got it set on approach, but I don't know if it's going to do it or not. I don't see a glide path at all. So these radios aren't working. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. I'll set my altitude now to, let's see, the field elevation is what, 165. So we'll call it 200, 300. I'll set it to 500. When it's time, I'll just set up a descent to 500. Visual. Yeah, the navigation is not working with the hood. It's not intercepting. We're pretty close to being right on it. Maybe a couple degrees to the right. Let's tilt. Let's think about 0.95. That's close enough. I think it's up here. And we should be getting glide path right now. So I'm going to set up about a 300-foot rate of descent. Three to 400. So I can see visually what it looks like. I think the runway's right here. And we're 158 knots. That's okay for right now. Still can't distinguish the runway for sure. And I remember this fjord being a little narrower and a little higher on both sides, but maybe I've got it confused. Oh, here's the runway right here. My God. Okay. So let's take it off autopilot. See if I can put the sucker in. Oh, thank God. Yeah, those radios don't work with a hoot. Speed coming along. Well, I think we're down. Now, if I can see where the taxiways are. Flaps up a little bit, make it a little easier to turn. Must be a taxiway somewhere here. Looks like one coming up, maybe. Well, it was pretty not bad for an almost crash landing by the time that runway showed up. I I was expecting it a little further down the road. I don't remember this being this big. Like I said, but this was 1950 when I was here. They must have added quite a bit to it. I don't know. Is this a taxiway? I guess it is. Yeah, there it is. Kind of hard to see the yellow line. Let me try to make it look a little more familiar to you. Well, that's the weather I remember. A little bit more snow. Get back on center line here. Let's go park by the tower. I don't know any other place to park. The other pedals on this thing are so touchy, and they don't have a steering mechanism. I have to use the rudders. I don't know where they want us here. I'll just find me a spot and park it. Some planes down. What? I have got to get some clothes. I have absolutely nothing to wear. I'm recording, Sandra. I'm just going to pull it over here. Looks like looks like a spot right here. It'll work just fine. And I'm going to park right here. Oops, a little further. Couldn't see the line. That's good enough. Good enough for government work. Don't see any big airplanes anywhere. Let me see if I can clear the weather all up, see what this place looks like. Been so long since I was here. Clear skies. Oh, it even turned into sunshine and we even stopped the snow. Yeah, doesn't look at all familiar to me. Does that look familiar to you there, Aubrey? It's been a while. Oh well, I'm gonna call it quits and see what this video looks like.